Sometimes, the ones we love never really leave, but what if they don't come back the same? Welcome to Chilling Chatter, where we unravel tales that linger in your mind long after the lights go out. Tonight, we dive into a story of grief, mystery, and something far more unsettling. Let's begin. My neighborhood has been unusually quiet these past few months. 3 of my neighbors passed away, 2 from cancer, 1 from sepsis. One of them was Mrs. Hargrove from the middle bungalow. She was always kind, waving at me from her garden in her cream jumper. Her husband, Mr. Hargrove, now lives there alone. Every time I pass their house, the air feels heavy, like the house itself is grieving. One restless night, unable to sleep, I headed downstairs for tea. As I stood at the sink filling the kettle, I saw something outside, a figure walking up the garden path to the middle bungalow. My chest tightened. The figure was wearing a cream jumper, Mrs. Hargrove's jumper. Before I could fully process what I was seeing, the figure moved straight through the gate and into the house without opening the door. I told myself it wasn't real, but what happened next changed everything. The next morning, I passed the bungalow and saw Mr. Hargrove on the porch. He looked pale, shaken. "She was here last night," he said soft. "Who?" I asked, though I already knew. "My wife," he whispered. "She stood at the foot of the bed, just staring. Her jumper was soaked, dripping onto the floor. I called out to her, but she disappeared." I walked away, trying to convince myself it was just grief playing tricks on both of us. But deep down, I felt a growing sense of unease. That night, I couldn't sleep. Around 2 a.m., I heard a faint tapping coming from the kitchen. I crept downstairs, heart pounding, and stopped cold. The kettle was boiling. I hadn't turned it on. Steam swirled into strange shapes, and then I heard it, a faint whisper coming from the sink. Slowly, I turned, and there she was, Mrs. Hargrove. Her face was twisted, her hollow eyes locked onto mine. Her lips moved silently, but her hand rose and pointed toward the middle bungalow. Her warning made no sense to me until it was too late. The next day, I heard that Mr. Hargrove had been rushed to the hospital. The paramedics said he was found unconscious, muttering, "Keep the door shut, keep it shut." That night, I locked every door in my house. But around 3 a.m., I woke to the sound of the kettle boiling again. The sound was deafening, almost like it was screaming for attention. When I entered the kitchen, a puddle of water stretched from the kettle to the back door, which was slightly ajar. I slammed it shut and bolted upstairs. I haven't looked out my kitchen window since. But sometimes, late at night, I still hear the kettle hiss. And sometimes, I feel like someone is standing just behind me, watching. Whatever's happening in the middle bungalow, it isn't over. Thank you for watching Chilling Chatter. Hit that like button and subscribe for more tales that will keep you up at night. Until next time, sweet dreams.